Hello everybody, how's it going? It's Chase again, I'm back, and I'm here today with the first topic of my big discussion, which is worrying about the past or what will happen in the future is a complete and utter waste of time. Just let that sink in for a second. Worrying about the past or the future is, generally speaking, a complete waste of time. So before we really dive into the video, we first have to define what is over-worrying, right? Over-worrying is pretty easy to tell. It's pretty easy to tell when you over-worry. A good sign to tell that you're over-worrying is you're thinking, what if this happens? What if that happens? I don't know what's gonna happen. Well, of course you don't know what's gonna happen if it hasn't already happened, but that's one of the cool things about life. And it's so unfortunate that so many people jump to a conclusion that something bad is going to happen if it hasn't already happened. And the mind is such a powerful tool and machine that oftentimes, if you think that something bad is going to happen, chances are it's going to happen. That's how powerful the mind really is. Conversely, if you go into a situation that is unknown, just like every situation, you approach it and you say, you know what? I'm going to kick this situation's butt. I'm going to reap what I sow, and I'm going to do the best I can. If you approach it like that, chances are much greater that you're going to succeed. I understand it's a survival instinct that in order to avoid death, we come to these negative conclusions and we say, what if this? What if that? What if I get rejected when I ask out that cute girl? What if I get a bad grade on this test even though I prepared? Right? So that's one of the reasons when you ask yourself, why is it so hard not to think negatively? Why is it so hard not to think about the worst outcome, even though I've studied? Even though this girl's my friend and I'm going to ask her out and we have a great time together already? It's due to the fact that it's instinct. And like I was saying, it is there to help us survive. I made a couple notes on my computer here, so we'll see what's next. So in that sense, worrying is super paradoxical. Oftentimes, if we over-worry about something, the worst case scenario will happen. If we don't over-worry and we just are relaxed and we approach it and say, hey, this is an uncontrollable. The things that I've done in my past, I can't go back and change those. The things that have not happened yet, those aren't necessarily controllable in every sense of the word, right? You can't control everything that you do. Much of it is other people. Much of it is environment. Much of it is happen chance. So when you realize that it is paradoxical to feel such a negative emotion, to feel that knot turning in your stomach, right? To feel, frankly, crappy, and realize that that's not helping you but is hurting you, is a first great step in overcoming worry. Over-worrying, that is. Worrying is unavoidable. Let's be honest. It's impossible to not worry about some things. But over-worrying, over-analysis, analysis paralysis, as many of you have probably heard, is very possible to eradicate. It is. So there's this mentality that a lot of people have talked about with me, and it is the I'll be happy when mentality. I'll be happy when that girl says yes to the date. I'll be happy when I get that A on the test or A in the class. I'll be happy when I graduate high school. I'll be happy when I graduate college. I'll be happy when I land that $200,000 a year job. I'll be happy once I'm high up in that job. You see, the list keeps going on. I'll be happy once I retire. Okay, now you've retired and the vast majority of your life is behind you. So see, you were over-worrying about your life throughout the entire duration of it. And you get to the end, and then you say, this is it? I was worrying so much and saying I'll be happy when this happens. Then it happens. And at the end of the day, you're not really happy. I can think about this in an example applicable to my life, in the sense of material possessions. Oftentimes I'd be at a store and I'd look at something on the shelf and I'd say, you know what, if I had this to add to my wardrobe, I would feel like I'd be on top of the world. And let's say I went ahead and bought it impulsively, right? Let's say I bought it impulsively. I took it back to my house. I'm like, this is so cool. I have this new possession. I'm so excited to have it. And then I started wearing it day after day. I'm like, you know, this is cool. And then you kind of start to admit to yourself, I'm not sure if anyone else does this. I do this, though. When I buy a material possession, and it starts to lose some of its coolness. And you say, you know, no, this is still cool. I'm still going to convince myself that this is awesome, that I have this. And then over time, you'll start to realize, did I really need to buy this thing in order to feel happy? Because at the end of the day, I don't feel any happier after getting this. Then you come to that realization and you're like, whoa. And at first when you do this, you don't make the realization that buying a lot of things won't make you happy. And so it has to happen over and over for you to finally start seeing the pattern of, wow, did I really need this? Did I really need that? Let's say this girl that you've been going after, or this guy you've been going after, says yes to a date. And you start dating this person, and then you realize, you know what, I was so excited during the chase. I was so excited to get them, and now that I have them, maybe there are some things that we're not compatible on. Then you say, did I really need to invest that much worry about what that other person thought about me? And now that I have them, I realize maybe I shouldn't have tried so hard. Maybe I should have been myself. In this one life that we have, this is something that really helps with overworrying. To realize that we exist on a planet that is dwarfed by other planets, and a galaxy that is one of billions. It's said to be one of billions in the universe. And some believe, some think, some theorize that the universe is expanding. So you see at the end of the day how insignificant many of our worries are? That shouldn't worry you. That should make you realize, wow, I get the chance to exist in this thing that, whatever you believe, is still relatively unknown. This thing called life. Right? And so if you spend the majority worrying about it, over-worrying, over-analyzing it, is that really living that, for all we know, one opportunity that you have to live? Is it worth it to spend so much of this one life you have worrying and stressing, when at the end of the day, you realize, it might have not been worth it, right? That is something that has helped me tremendously, absolutely tremendously, in avoiding the over-worrying thinking trap. Okay, on to the next thing. You hear that exercise, taking care of yourself, physical health, diet, nutrition, exercise, cardio, weight training, whatever way you get exercise. That could be kicking a ball around, having fun, going for walks. Helps with your mental health and mental state, and that is so true. I'm sure many of you guys watching this have heard of the mind-body connection, right? It's real. It is definitely real. I can tell you through exercise, through taking care of my body, I have been so much happier because dopamine release, serotonin release, norepinephrine release, all these feel-good hormones, right, are oftentimes caused by exerting yourself physically. I don't know if you guys have ever finished a run or finished a workout and you've been like, I feel on top of the world. Why is that? Because your body's health oftentimes correlates with your mental health. So that is another thing to do to burn off excess stress, this over-worrying, this excess worry. So keep that in mind. On to the next thing. Let's see. Catching yourself when you worry about the future or worry about the past is extremely important to do. And at first, it might seem like, you know what, I'm catching myself when I worry, but is it really doing anything for me? Well, yes. First of all, to form that habit, habits take time to form, both good and bad habits. Once you form this habit of saying, okay, I'm over-worrying, I need to catch myself, I need to redirect myself, I need to re-coordinate myself, recalibrate myself. once you do that enough and you realize, hey, I'm over worrying. This isn't helping me in any sense of the manner. In fact, it is hindering me from my goals, hindering me from my dreams. Then you start to realize, I don't need to feel like I'm in this state. I don't need to feel this right now, so I'm not. That is extremely productive. It sounds so simple, but once you start to do it enough, right? Once you start to do it enough, it'll become a habit, and then you'll start to worry less. And when you start to worry less, the quality of your life goes up. It's an inverse relationship. It really is. So, let's see here. I'm pretty sure I went through the entire list here. I did. I hope this video was helpful. I hope this video was insightful for all of you guys. I hope it's gotten you thinking about this habit that many of us have, many of our societies have, which is overworrying, overthinking, overanalyzing. I hope that some of the methods that I've discussed in coping will help you guys stay conscious of overworrying, and you will be able to overcome it. Have a great day.